your pages should be numbered up until 65 in your notebook, right? So please make sure that they're numbered right here. 55, 56, 50, I skipped a page, 57, right? So please make sure they're numbered up to 65. And then once you've numbered up to 65, please go ahead and make sure you are on page 55. Page 55. And you're going to take your table of contents. Okay, now mine's white, but yours is in color. You're going to take your table of contents and just tape it to 55. Okay, you can see what we're going to do. On the next page, we're going to talk about functions as machines and just a little bit of notation, how functions are written. Then tomorrow, we're going to be talking about whether something is or isn't a function, and there's going to be a quiz on that. And then on Friday, we'll be talking about evaluating functions, and there'll be a quiz on that. Okay, so you can sort of see what's coming. But go ahead right now and turn to 56, and we're gonna literally spend. We're going to tape down this functions or machine paper to the left side of 56. This is the left side of 56. And we're literally just going to talk about functions for 5 minutes right now and just give you a chance to sort of wrap your head around what functions are and what we're going to be talking about. Because it turns out functions are actually, they can be equations, they can be graphs. It's stuff we've already done, but I want you to start by thinking about functions as machines. And here's what I mean. Machines have inputs and outputs. So if you put something into a machine, it gives you an output. And the thing about machines is they're very predictable. You sort of know what's coming. So if I have a toaster, right? Let's use the toaster as an example of a machine. And I put in white bread. What's the output? White toast. Right? And it's very predictable. There's no chance that I will put in a piece of white bread into a toaster and then when I take it out, it's going to be an iPhone, right? There's no possibility of that. It was very predictable. White bread, put in toaster, leads to white toast. Frozen Eggo waffle, right? What's going to be the output? A toasted Eggo waffle. What if I input a bagel? What comes out? A toasted bagel, right? This is not, a toaster is predictable just like any machine is predictable. And so then feel free to come up with something creative here, an input and an output, right? Feel free to be funny, whatever's going to help you sort of remember this idea of input and output, right? If you put your hand in a toaster, you get a burned hand, whatever it is, it's fine. So that's a toaster, right? Here's another example. And a microwave can be a little bit more complicated because a microwave applies heat in sort of a interesting way. So popcorn, a bag of unpopped popcorn, well, what happens is the microwave heats it. Well, when unpopped popcorn is heated, it pops. And if you've ever popped popcorn in a different way, like on the stove or with an air popper, you know that all you need to pop popcorn is heat. So that's what the microwave gives you. Well, what if you put a frozen burrito in the microwave? Right? They sell little frozen burritos that you can heat up in the microwave. Well, what do you get? You get a hot burrito, right? What does the microwave do? It just heats things up. Oops, burrito. Did I spell that right? I think so. Now, here's like sort of to get into the sort of funny end of this. What if you put tin foil in? Well, the microwave applies heat in a different way than, say, an oven. You can put tin foil in an oven, but you can't put it in a microwave. You can't put metal in a microwave. The output would be a fire and probably a broken microwave. Right? And here's the thing, is all of this is predictable. Like when I put a frozen burrito in a microwave and I close the door, and I don't think to myself, I wonder what's going to come out. It's not a mystery. I know it's going to come out, right? And so the message I want you to get here is these things are sort of, machines are very predictable, and functions also are very predictable. We know what we'll get when we put something into a function. And just some other examples of input and output, right? We sort of talked about machines, like something you plug in, but there's other examples of input and output in real life. Like, for example, what are the inputs? How much you get paid per week at a job that pays hourly? Well, there's two inputs here, right? How much do you get an hour? This is called your hourly wage, right? Do you get paid $10 an hour? Do you get paid $50 an hour? And then let's say you get paid $10 an hour. Then how much do you get per week is how many hours you worked. Right? And so it's not like when you get your check at the end of a week, when you start working, it's not like you'll be like, I wonder what I'll get this week, right? It's just, it's predictable. Depending on your hourly wage and how many hours you work, you should know how much your check is going to be. How about this one? And again, we're just sort of we're thinking of the ideas of input and output. The length of a shadow. Right? You ever thought about this? Let's say I have a lamp post. I don't know, one of those street lights, right? Like this. Okay, and then there's a shadow, and what influences the length of that shadow? Well, two things. The height of a lamppost, right? Here's the lamppost, here's you. You have a shorter shadow than the lamppost because you're smaller. But the other thing is the time of day, right? If the sun is here, then it hits the lamppost and it just gives, a little short shadow like this because the light is shining down and then this lamppost is blocking the sun from hitting this part of the sidewalk. But if the sun is here and it's the end of the day, then the sun, it shines and it hits the lamppost and the lamppost prevents the sun from hitting a whole longer part of the sidewalk, right? And so it also depends on the time of day. But again, shadows are predictable. It's not like you're walking down the street and you're going to see like a really short shadow and a really long shadow, right? There's sort of, depending on the time of day and the height of something, you could sort of predict how long a shadow is going to be. It's not a mystery. Grades. This is sort of, we just had a conversation about this, right? But like, what are the inputs? It's like, do your homework, ask for help, right? Like, study for tests. These are all the things we've been talking about. But again, like your grades are not a mystery. It's you put in work and then you get the help you need and then your grades end up where they end up. But again, it's not a mystery. And so as we start to talk about functions, the big message is functions are not a mystery. They're a way for us to see something get put in and then something come out. But we're always going to know what's coming out because it's going to be predictable. So that's just sort of an intro to this idea of inputs and outputs, which we've seen before, and we'll continue to explore as we talk about functions.